Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you again. Let's jump right on into it. So we are playing here today against Viola Tongan. As I mentioned yesterday afternoon, we've got a bunch of changes here to the lineup. We can take a quick look at this as we do auto size all columns, and we can see that we have a whole bunch of players who haven't played yet this season. A little bit of a risk for us, but we'll see what happens. King Moe is going to be one of our two men up front, so we'll see what happens, and we will auto number and give a new number here to Zion Sione, or Zion, I guess we can call him, and see how he does. And hopefully we'll have some success here today. Let's see how we do here against Viola Tongan. They're not a particularly good side, at least so far this season, but we always have to be a little bit wary of these sides. We don't want to underestimate them too much. As you can see with these real photos for some of these players, a number of the players that we have on our side today play for the American Samoa national team. Which is always a good thing, hopefully. Even though the American Samoa national team has not always played that well, we're hoping that they'll be able to perform for us here. And let's see what happens. A fairly good crowd here for this match. It's a home match for us, and we have quite a number of supporters there in the stands. So we'll see what happens here at Pago Park Stadium. Don't remember which pitch this is supposed to be. And let's see what happens. Yeah, you can call it a stadium, I guess. If you look at actual photos of it, it's more like a field with a few seats here and there. But Football Manager is unable, of course, to replicate that as we survived this shot on goal from close in. Football Manager takes everything and turns it into Northern England, which is a little bit, I think, of underhanded imperialism happening here in the game itself. But we'll talk about politics some other time because Fuahala Malani has just scored for Viola Tongan, and we're down 1-0, and this is not the way this was supposed to start. So it's a pretty well-taken corner, and we have the men there to defend it, but our goaltender ends up falling down instead of trying to actually save the ball, and so we have to go demand more. And we have a number of players who are nervous and upset by the feedback I just gave, so let's see what happens. Loke with a horrible play on that one, but fortunately we were able to prevent that one from going on and in. I worry about these guys not really knowing how to play together. Mark Tagai hasn't really done much at all today, and that's another worry that we have. He's a good striker, but we have to get him out there scoring. So we'll see. This might be a costly lesson for us. If we lose the second match, then I've got to worry about the potential of Champions League next year, and then it actually turns into the point where we think about moving on. Pass goes forward for Moy, but he's not able to get onto it. Samulelu ends up heading it forward to the opposition player, and we're looking pretty poor here so far. Let's see if we can get this ball off of them, and we cannot as we allow that one to get past us in midfield. And that was a pretty poor sequence of play by us on defense, and I'm a little bit concerned. I'm concerned that we're not seeing much of a buildup. This is much different than what our last few matches have been like, and they, of course, are in 9th place. And so we really should be able to do a little bit better than this. Ikuvalu is able to get to that one and tip that one over everybody's head. It's out for another corner, though, and let's see if we can actually defend this one. And we, fortunately, are sort of able to get it out, but Moe can't get there fast enough. This one's knocked back out again, and it ends up here with a goal kick, and we're going to take this one short. Ikuvalu, if he does what he's supposed to do, does take it short over to Fauga. And he ends up lumping it forward into the midfield looking for nobody. So we're still having the same problems. We need to work the ball up slowly and not just lump it forward to absolutely nobody. I mean, there's nobody even close there. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be a pass to. There's nobody there at all, and it ends up leading to a potential counterattack and a very quick shot on goal by them. And that's another frustrating thing. It's hard when you're playing with players at this level who don't know what they're doing. Puni Samulelu having a poor match, and he's about to come off and might never play for us again. This is really, really bad, and let's get this straightened out a little bit. So Samulelu's coming off, and you know how I am. I'm not a very patient person when it comes to what's going on here. We'll put Ken Coulter on for him and hope that he can actually do something. A lot of really, really poor matches here, especially from our players at the top, and so we will put Petupoli on. We don't have another striker, unfortunately, and yeah, we're going to have to keep King Moe on. In fact, what we're going to do here is we're going to change these two around. That's probably going to be the better idea. Yeah, we don't have another person to put there either, so got to ask who picked this team. Well, I'm the one who picked the team. Peyton Milani also having a poor match, and maybe there is something to be said for just going along with what the computer selects for you automatically, because this is looking pretty bad. only about 5 minutes into this video, and we're already behind 1-0, and it's already halftime. So this is not what we're used to, that's for sure. And they're kind of passing the ball here around our defense, which isn't great, but we're able to get a little bit of a foot onto that one, knock it back, and Sala is able to get to it over to Tagai, who heads it forward to nobody, which remains a problem. He could have taken that one down and grabbed control of it. Instead, he was content to head it just forward into nothing. There's a pass looking forward for Petupoli, but can't quite find him. Ends up there with Zion Sione over to Tua and over to Takai, who takes a shot from range that's pretty ill-advised and ends up just going out for a goal kick. So we need to do a little bit better than this. Petupoli able to sort of win that one in midfield, but doesn't really knock it to anybody. Takai over there to Tua, who passes it forward for Petupoli. This is the reason why we signed him. He takes the shot, but he waits a little bit too long. And I've noticed that before. There's a whole bunch of hesitation when he plays. We've seen that a couple of times so far this season. He'll get the ball in a good position, and then instead of doing what he needs to do right away, like he needs to shoot here, he decides to take it forward and take it forward and take it forward, and then it's too late. They've caught up with him. So we need a little bit more of that killer instinct from him. Sione passes over to Mark Tagai, and he looks for the cross and can't find anybody. He ends up with Loke again. Loke passes it forward again to nobody. There's nobody there. We need to have shorter passes and more direct passes instead of just lumping the ball forward, hoping for a miracle. I'm not sure if we're ever going to be able to knock that out of these guys' heads, but this is getting pretty ugly, and we keep losing possession in midfield and losing it cheaply, and Fauga has injured himself and given up a penalty. So we're about to go down 2-0 here, and this is getting to be a little bit ridiculous. There is the goal, 2-0 for Viali Tongan, and we're kind of heading the wrong way this save, aren't we? We need to do a little bit better than this. This is a pretty ridiculous show by us against a team that is much weaker. And so now we'll take a look here and see. We do have another save to make. We're going to put another Zion on. Zion Moala will come on to replace Sekone Faoga, who probably also will never play another match for us again. Really poor performance, and the fines are definitely going to come out at the end of this one. We've made 4 substitutions out of our 5 allocated substitutions so far, and we need something to happen here. And we're going to end up berating these players. We'll see if that wakes somebody up. This is good because it gives you an idea of who your good players are and who your good players are not, but we're having some really poor performances from some players who are supposed to be better. Petupoli with the ball over to Tua, and he just takes a shot from the middle of nowhere, which is not what we wanted. This is the same problem we've had before, working into the box. It's part of our tactic. So we'll have to look again and see if there's some other thing that needs to be modified or changed here, but this is getting ridiculous. So Sala takes the shot from range, almost scores, and is knocked out for a corner, and we'll see what we can do. We will take Toa off. Everybody's having a poor match, and this may end up being one of those times in which I don't give a team talk at the end out of just sheer frustration with how poorly the players performed, because we really should win this match. It should be a pretty simple victory for us. Poasa ends up fouling the guy, and there's no call. He just shoves him to the ground. So, I mean, that's not what we want him to do. I was about to say it's not what we pay him to do. We don't pay them any money, of course. We need to get this ball back, and we're running behind and can't seem to grab it. So they lump it forward, and we've got nobody back. They've beaten us. Fortunately for us, that was off the side crossbar, or the side post. Mark Tagai with it now over to Seleni. Seleni lumps this one forward for Ken Coulter, who passes over to Petupoli, and that forces a save, which is okay. But yeah, we need to do a little bit better than this here, guys. Ami Some here with the corner, and this was really our opportunity to head into first place, at least temporarily, and we've completely blown it. So let's go ahead and skip this highlight, which is a whole bunch of nothing, and see if we can't get this ball back. Petupoli with over to Tagai, and he takes a shot from range, and it does nothing, right? We need to stop these shots from outside of the box, and we need to start working the ball in, which is, as I said before, major part of the tactic, and the players are not listening to it. So, yeah, we're going to see what we do. It's always nerve-wracking when you're giving guys, their first chance of starting the season. Ikuvalu almost lets that one go in over his head, which is totally ridiculous. He's having a really poor match and might find himself also no longer part of the team. And here is the free kick by them, and it goes just whiskers over the top of the goal. And boy, a lot of inconsistency here with this team so far, and a lot of fines are going to be coming up here for a number of players, many of whom I think are probably going to wind up being just completely released at the end of this one, as this is absolutely a ridiculous way to play. And yeah, well, let's see what we can do. We have only a few seconds left, and we can't even get the ball off of them. And they're going to have a shot on goal here at the very end of the match, and it ends up ending like that. So frustrating defeat for us, not even a close match. Our XG is 0.62. It's the worst that we've had in the season, almost season half we've played so far. We did win the possession battle, but we couldn't get any shots on the way, and we'll see what happens at the end of this. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.